Hello and welcome to another episode of Ways to Better Living. As always, this is your host, Koreel, coming to you with a new topic this day, part 1 of news outlets. Now, one might ask, what does this topic has to do with that? If you one of those people who like to pick at every topic, thinking that. So, with that says, if you think that, well, do you listen to news? Some might say, oh, I don't pay attention to news. Okay. Are you one that knows what's happening in your surrounding? Especially this time when there's this COVID going on. So, how are you getting that news? So, which means you do listen to news. Where do you get your news from? So, that is where we're going to start by going to the places where you get your news. Some of you got it from word of mouth, where you do not listen to radio or watch TV or read newspaper or go online to search these things. So what people around you, close to you, or however say, in the form of you hearing from someone's mouth in flesh, that's how you know what's happening. So, and some majority, that's how they know how things are going on. So let's go with that first, in that first case, because all of these tie in, as you will understand further down the line. So, mind you, this is part 1, and we're going to be dealing mostly with the view in general of how you view news outlets, from where you get your news and all whatnot. So now, since if you want to get yours from word of mouth, where do your word of mouth got that news to be able to speak that news? And you also know that hearing from word of mouth, chances are you're going to hear something different in a way, because that person is not going to come give you word to word of what the news, where they get their news, what it says. They always paraphrase it. Some will exaggerate the news, but mostly they will just paraphrase it in the sense of giving you a summary of what they hear. So, for those of you who will be wondering about the paraphrase, that's a summary in the sense of giving you the short version of what was said in the news. Though sometimes the short version is even longer, in the sense that the way the person will explain it, or you will hear it from them, will be longer than what the news outlets of where they got the news put it. So meaning, if you one that knows this, you tell someone something to go tell someone else, they always add and take away. They don't just take away stuff, they add also. Why? Because they make the news personal, or that message personal. So by them making it personal, when they repeat it, it's going to be in their own way of what they take and make it their own. Why do people do that? Well, it's just the human tendency to always make something their own. And everyone that understands this knows that to be true. So now, since some of you, most majority said word of mouth. Now, so the news you hear from someone, you already know there's certain things that the person already take away and some that they will add. But how do you know what was taken away and what was added? So this makes you, if you're someone that thinks in this way, what does it do? It makes you go to the news outlet of where they got that information, so you could get the original version from that news outlets. And majority these days, though radio tend to give, but radio doesn't really give that much information. These days, a lot of people who focus on going online, that's where they get their news outlets, online. Why do I say online? Yes, the TV is there, but the internet is available to majority of people than cable. So online be the best place to get your news. Whether you go majority YouTube, you go search something on Google, send it to YouTube, or you go directly on YouTube and search it, and boom, there it is. So anyway, majority of the TV channels and stations, they're already on YouTube as well, where they post their own version of what they know people going to search for and be able to go from there. And if you're someone that do post things online, especially with this whole hashtag theme that's been going on, they want you to do an hashtag tag where you can, so if someone going to search, your video will be in that search list, like keywords that sometimes those keywords that you put down doesn't have anything to do with what you're posting. But why do you do that? Because humans know, though, even if you do not spend that much time online, you just know the keywords that people use on a day-to-day basis. So you use those, so it makes it quicker to get your material online than other materials. And the TV news outlet, they know this. So does the newspaper. So they do this. So when you search something that's in that line, boom, it comes up. And then you get your information. So now the question is, how do you trust the information that you get online? Because does it mean that because it's online, does it mean it's trustworthy? So this is a way of letting you think about your news outlet. I would love to give you an example of how I get mine, but at the same time, what you hear, you know you cannot get anywhere on the internet or on the TV station or on the radio. Why? Or in any other podcast you might listen to. Why don't you? Because these are not the things that people do search for. Why they don't search for things like this? Well, you search for things that you the things that you want to hear is what you will search for. You don't search for what is really the truth. So, and these people that give you the news knows that you only want to hear what you want to hear. And what you want to hear is not the truth. You just will take it as the truth because that's what you want to hear. So, would that help you in carrying on and understanding what really is the news you're getting? And one other thing about that part is, like I said, I get my information differently than everyone else. And how I pay attention to my new information is different from how you pay attention to yours. But the one thing I don't listen to things from people want to tell me how things goes. But the one thing that people fall under constantly is they hear something on the news, especially about the weather forecast. And now they take that as, oh, it's guaranteed of what they say, that's what's going to happen. You might be one of those people. And why did I mention that? One thing, if humans know exactly about the weather forecast, then why do you miss the important things in your life that you cannot fix, but you know the weather that's going to happen tomorrow or the next 2 days, but you don't know anything about your life, what's going to happen the next 2 seconds? No one even think about that, but someone tell you this what the weather going to be, and you believe it, and you keep going. It's supposed to be this. Who said it's supposed to? You hear it from the radio. Who built that radio? Someone like you. And if that's the case, why can't you tell the weather as well? You gotta listen to someone else tell you. So these are the simple things that people do not pay attention to in the way they get their information. All right. Another thing that people hear of major, especially if you want that have a cable watching news on the TV, constantly you see things that goes on that they show you, especially when they're showing you mostly about people having a riot, destroying, or whether peaceful, but mostly it's destroying, running and up and down, and everyone going crazy with the police and all that. Do you ever sit down and watch that? If you a journalist in the midst of that, to let people see, would you notice that would be the difference from what you're watching? I will not give you an answer now. You think about it on the next episode, on the next part 2 of this topic. We discuss that more. I just wanted to give that as a way of letting you start thinking about when you watch TV. You're sitting down, you watch TV, take a movie and put it on and see what's the one thing that is the same. That camera doesn't move. That's all I will say. Just look at that. So with that said, there goes my time. So as always, this is your host Colio saying God bless and hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful time, and enjoy applying these things to benefit you.